Hi, this is Dr. Janine Parolini, your Profinabox, where we try to share videos about van life in about 5 minutes. Well, here I am sitting in this beautiful ski resort area in Wausau, Wisconsin. You can see Granite Peak ski area in the background. It's been lovely. I love the facilities, the people, and the ski slopes at Granite Peak. I highly recommend them. And so you might be looking at me going, wow, she's living the life. And it's wonderful to ski from a van. It's wonderful to be able to put your equipment on in the van where it's warm and where you've got everything right there. And then just pop out with your skis and get right on the hill. That is a real blessing. And it's convenient. But I also want to share with you a couple of things that happened just before getting here to beautiful Granite Peak, because I had a couple of dilemmas, and this is also part of van life. So this is an especially busy time for me as a professor at a university, because working up to graduation, there's so much to grade. I have a lot of leadership responsibilities. So last week, I got on campus the night before graduation day so I could wake up early and do more of my duties and responsibilities to help prepare for graduation. And I woke up on graduation day and I had a flat tire. Yes, I had a flat tire. And when you get a flat tire in a vehicle this size and this heavy, it's overwhelming. At least it was to me. Now, I have 2 road services I can call on. I wanted a backup road service as well with a vehicle this size and this heavy. And I had service in about an hour and 15 minutes, and it's amazing the way they lift up the van with their vehicle when they, fix your flat tire. It was incredible. But I learned a lot of new things. I learned where my tire's at. I learned where all my tools are for a flat tire. So I learned quite a bit. And by the way, in a Ford Transit, your tools are under the passenger front seat. So just so you know, I didn't know that. I never imagined they'd be there, but I found out. So anyway, the tire got fixed in terms of, changing over to the spare. And then I took my tire into Ford because I have a service contract there, and I thought they probably need to repair it or replace it. Well, I come to find out that somewhere along the way, on that night, I had picked up a screw in my tire, and that's not something that they repair. That ends up being my responsibility. So I know, there could be a lot of puns with that, but we won't go there right now. But yes, I had a screw in my tire. I've only had this van for 3,000 miles, and I already had a screw in my tire. So guess what? They couldn't repair it. It needed to be replaced. So I had to decide if I'm going to get another new tire, or I was also thinking, because Van of Vans, who built my van, they recommended the Falcon Wild Peak tires. And so I've been thinking about replacing my current tire, my stock tires, with the Falcon Wild Peaks. And so I decided, instead of paying like $260 for that stock tire, that I was going to make the investment in the Falcon Wild Peaks. And I'm really glad I did. My Falcon Wild Peaks, they drive so much nicer, and they're really solid in the snow and on ice too. So I'm really grateful I did that. But guess what? I had to wait over the weekend to get those tires in and then get them replaced on Monday. So I planned on, the next day after graduation, leaving for my Michigan adventure skiing, and I had to wait a couple extra days because of the tire incident and needing, to wait for the tires to come in and supply chain issues and that type of thing. So, those are some of the things that happen in van life. The other piece I learned is that I noticed one day when I woke up here in the van, and the temperatures are below 0 here, that my lithium batteries were not charging. And so I learned that when they get below 5 degrees, they stop charging, even when you have the vehicle on. And so I had to go back in the garage and turn on the battery warmers and get the vehicle warm so that the batteries would start charging again. And so that's something I learned. So I think rather than keeping my my van 75 degrees when it's 0 or less. I think I'm going to keep it about 80 degrees and also keep those battery warmers on with this cold weather. So I learned those couple things. And I really appreciate Jason at Van of Vans because, you know, I reached out to him in my overwhelm over all this, and he encouraged me. He said, you know, this is all about learning and growing and just facing these challenges and learning how to come through them and overcome them. And he's totally right. So I really appreciate them. I really appreciate him. So I wanted to share this with you and also say Merry Christmas to you. I hope and pray that you enjoy the peace and the joy at this time of the year. And this is your Prof in the Box with another video update on van life in about 5 minutes. This one is just under 6. Merry Christmas.